Seriously, on the Rod Pedersen Show.
I can't tell you when's the last time I got so serious about something like this Slapshot remake discussion. And we've had some really good ones coming in here. Jeff in Winnipeg, Camilla says the Baldwin brothers for the Hansons. Wayne in Victoria agrees with my Zach Galifianakis as Denis Lemieux. Denis Lemieux, continuons sa saison. Who would be Dickie Dunn? I feel like Elliot Friedman should play Dickie Dunn. But I think that Billy Bob Thornton is a slam dunk as Reg Dunlop, because this is a very, very important role. This would be the role that might define Billy Bob Thornton's career.
It's the role.
It's the role. And I will go along with Billy Bob Thornton as Reg Dunlop. That's how big of a fan I am of his and of Reg Dunlop's, and nobody has come close to anybody else.
Somebody mentioned Steve Carell. Steve Carell maybe is Jim Carr.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
He could be Jim Carr. That works for me.
No. The guy whose idea this was in the first place, Robin Wildey, he's watching in PA. He says Liam Neeson as Joe McGrath. Liam Neeson's way too cool to play Joe McGrath. Way too cool.
Somebody mentioned.
Hey! John in Winnipeg. John Ohm. Danny DeVito.
Yeah.
As Joe McGrath.
Yeah. Slam dunk.
Perfect.
Oh, how about that? Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show. Now,
we are airing in Boston, Chicago, New York, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C.
how about that?
Washington, Oregon, Idaho, California, Arizona, Colorado, Oklahoma, Florida, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Indiana, Vermont, Maine. I've been everywhere, man.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Happy Monday, Canada and Canadian sports fans around the world. It's the RP Show coming at you from the bunker out here in Western Canada. We're dressed warmly here. You see that I've got my Jets bunny hug on, and Moose, you got your, looks like you're going rafting later today.
There you go. Sure.
How you doing?
I'm good.
I can't wait for Halloween. Now that I think about it, now that I know what your outfit's going to be, I can't wait. When are we doing this, Friday?
Friday.
All right. So I have 5 days to plan my outfit for that.
You've got some time.
For the special Halloween show.
You got some time.
It's another day where I lay my head down on the pillow and think, what are we going to talk about tomorrow on the old RP show? And then I realize it's a waste of time to think about it the night before, because stuff happens. And there's breaking news today. We'll be opening up with the Canadian Football League talk. What the hell? We're Canada's daytime sports talk show. Why wouldn't we talk about the Canadian Football League? The breaking news today is the Ottawa Redblacks announced they have fired general manager Marcel Desjardins, or as their news release says, relieved him of his duties. Desjardins, the first and only GM in Redblacks history, was the architect behind 3 Grey Cup appearances, including a championship victory in 2016, the first for the Redblacks since the club entered the league in the 2014 season. Assistant general manager Jeremy Snyder will take over on an interim basis for the rest of the year. So I know I'm jumping right into the pool, but why not? Don't have a lot of time here in the warm-up for Ecole Electric. So just to give you a little idea how my world works, Moose is on the other side of that wall. You're in your office doing business and counting money and doing the things that you do. I'm out here on the phone, and a football guy from the States called me. He had started calling me at 6:30 this morning, and I couldn't answer his call. Finally, I'm like, yeah, what? He's like, well, these are the names. These are the names being bandied around. And I'm like, that didn't take long.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, the one name is Hillman. There's, Hillman could be there, but he might not be. I'm like, who's Hillman? And he goes, not Hillman, Tillman, Pat Tillman. And I'm like, Pat Tillman? He's the Arizona Cardinal that quit the Cardinals, that joined the Army and went to Afghanistan and lost his. Not Pat, it's Eric Tillman. He's like, oh, whatever. His name's coming up. And So it led to the poll question here today for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center. We're right out of the gate. We're jumping into this. Who should be the next general manager of the Ottawa Redblacks? And the options that we came up with are Chris Jones, who's always coming up in every poll, right? I love it. Paul LaPolice, who is the current head coach of the Ottawa football team. And we think that he could be moved into a dual role. Our good man, Jim Popp, I believe the greatest general manager in the history of the CFL, 6 Grey Cups under his credit, will prove me right. And then Brendan Taman, and I just happened to talk to Brendan Taman's agent when I was in Miami a couple of weeks ago. You know who he is. I don't know. I think if I'm Ottawa, I'm giving Paul LaPolice the GM title. The thing was, I'd been hearing for weeks that they were going to fire Marcel Desjardins, and that it wasn't happening, and I was starting to feel like a fool. So I'm like, I'm out on this. And some insiders had told me that I was barking up the wrong tree, and I'm like, they're the worst team in the league by a mile. Come on. And now they're 2-9. They got killed on Saturday. What was it, 32-3? They had no choice but to fire Marcel Desjardins. He did a great job, but all good things come to an end. Believe me, all good things come to an end. Show me an example where it hasn't. He's done a great job, but they're the worst team in the league. A change had to be made, and here we are. Like I'm saying, I didn't even say fire the show horn. Can you fire the quick 6 show topics? Because we're into number 1 deep already on this Monday. Over to you, Moose Knuckle.
You say all good things come to an end.
Yeah.
And if you want the example, you just have to say all good things come to an end, or haven't come to an end yet, right? Because they all do eventually. Marcel Desjardins did a really great job with this Ottawa Football Club. I mean, won them a Grey Cup, had them in the Grey Cup, tons of success out of the gate. But then, just before the pandemic, in that season before the offseason, he went all in on this strategy to not pay and to, spend the money a certain way, and it didn't work out. And sometimes you got a path in the road to take, and sometimes you take the path that's a dead end, right? He made a choice, it didn't work out, now he's got to find another job. That happens in sports. You draft the wrong guy, right? You draft Ryan Leaf instead of Peyton Manning. There's all kinds of situations. So, you know what? He's going to find another job. He's going to have success somewhere else. But now it's who's going to come in and clean up the pieces. And, you have to have a vision. You have to be able to relate to the leaders of this organization, but also with the head coach. It makes sense, Paul LaPolice, to take on a dual role if he wants to and if he has that skill set in recruiting and signing players and managing salary caps and all that kind of stuff. But, yeah, we got 4 good names on the board, I think. And there's others. I mentioned Ed Hervey, other general managers who have been around. I don't know who wants it. We'll see. Settle in. Get comfortable. We've got a lot to cover here this morning in the warm-up for Ecol Electric. Because I see, the American hockey fans are watching and they're wondering what the heck's going on. We'll get to you. Brian Dodge, the mayor of Dodge City, is watching down there in the Everglades, and he wants to know what a bunny hug is. It's a Saskatchewan term for a hoodie. Everywhere else in the world, they call it a hoodie. We call it a bunny hug. Don't ask me why, but I was raised with it. I can't go away from it. Why would I go away from it? I don't need to go away from it. No. So it's a bunny hug, and I think that everybody should get on board with that. Point 2, CFL Week 12 scores that I did watch. Well, I didn't watch a lot of CFL football. We were busy on the road. But Friday night, Montreal won its 4th in a row, 37-16 over the Toronto Argonauts. It's a real arms race out there in the Eastern Division just for playoff jockeying. Montreal 37, Toronto 16. And then Saturday was, what they call it, Super Saturday in the CFL? Yeah. I still like Football Day in Canada, but nobody listens to me. It started with Hamilton destroying Ottawa 32-3 at the Coffee Cup, Tim Hortons Field. It was... It's like you can't go a day without Tim Hortons in your face in this country, right? Which is fine. I poured it into my Bronco plumbing and heating mug here. So the Ticats got it rolling. They destroyed Ottawa. And then Winnipeg pulverized the BC Lions 45-0. I put on Twitter, are Bomber fans ever going to get tired of the domination of their team? Because these games aren't even games. They're kicking the crap out of everybody. But I'll tell you a little story. I get it. We were flying home one time from a road trip. I think we were coming home from Hamilton in 2014. The game was the one in Guelph.
And I believe we beat him like 37-0 or something. And I was flying beside Paul Waldo, 3-time Grey Cup champion, who incidentally I rapped Knuckles with Saturday afternoon at Griffith Stadium. You saw it.
Yeah.
And I leaned over to Paul and I said, something what we're doing to everybody. This is with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And Waldo looked at me and he goes, we're kicking the crap out of everybody. You don't get tired of it, right? It's how much can you beat people by. So they're not tired of it in Winnipeg. But they're saying with the BC Lions that they've hit rock bottom. It was terrible. And I'm like, you know what? It might not be that bad, BC. Winnipeg's doing that to everybody. You know what I mean? Don't think just because they kicked your ass doesn't mean that you're the worst team in the league. Took the Riders a month to recover playing from Winnipeg, you know? So there's that. And then go to rodpedersen.com if you want a deep dive on what happened Saturday night at McMahon Stadium in Calgary. But the Saskatchewan Roughriders beat the Calgary Stampeders 20-17. I got my Bo Levi Mitchell jersey in here. I think I left it on your desk.
Perfect.
The signed jersey. We've got to find a place for it where we're going to put it up here in the bunker. The signed Bo Levi Mitchell jersey. So you and I watched it at Shoeless Joe's in Saskatoon. It was a great game. And that's a wrap of Week 12 in the CFL. They are full on into the stretch drive. There's 3 weeks to go. I'll get to your comments in a moment. Jeff, the Stamps fan, writes in, I don't mind you putting this in all caps. Put up his comment, guys, if you don't mind. He writes in all caps. He says, good morning, one and all. I'm using all caps not as an expression of aggression, but rather to make my presence known. I've been accused several times of not showing up after a Stamps loss. Here I am.
How about that?
Kudos to you, sir. I respect that. I respect that. Again, I get everybody's coming in with their comments.
You get called out. You can do one of two things. You can shrivel up and go in the corner and hide.
Or face it.
Or you can face the music. That's a watershed moment here on the show.
I'm proud of you. To the National Hockey League. Sunday night, Brad Marchand scored 28 seconds into the game and added an assist as the Boston Bruins beat San Jose 4-3 Sunday, snapping the Sharks' season-opening 4-game win streak. Roman Josi had a 4-point game. Connor Ingram won his first NHL start in Nashville, ended Minnesota's season-opening win streak at 4 games with a 5-2 win in Mini. Connor Ingram, friend of the program, pride of Imperial Sask. I'm wondering, when does he get mentioned in the conversation of Canadian goalies for the Olympics? He's undefeated in his NHL career. Lucas Raymond had 3 goals and an assist, and Detroit beat winless Chicago 6-3. Tyler Bertuzzi added a goal and 2 assists. Carter Rowney and Vladislav Nemesnikov also scored. And in goal for Detroit, Alex Nedeljkovic. Did I say that right? Yeah. Sounds like a tennis player.
It does.
Made 32 saves. Nedeljkovic, the goalie for Detroit. And then in Vegas, Ilya Sorokin made 42 saves. Josh Bailey and Matthew belly up to the bars all.
That's
Chris
good.
Berman's calling him that.
No, that's Berman. I thought you came up with that one.
No.
That's good.
That's another new Chris Berman. He's on his thing with the NHL players now. Chris. Matthew, belly up to the bar. Zoll scored. And New York blanked Vegas 2-0. You all are wondering what's wrong with Canada's team, the Vegas Golden Knights. I'll say it again. They're missing their top 2 players. Mark Stone and Max Pumpkin Patch are ready. I won't be concerned until U.S. Thanksgiving, okay? If they're floundering around at that time, get back to me then.
Yes.
But Vegas will figure it out. They're too good. They're too good.
Yeah, you know, it's early. It's really, really early. But at some point, Chicago needs to get a win, and Vegas needs to start flexing their muscles a little bit.
I don't mind spending a little time here on the National Hockey League. Florida Panthers, by the way, are off to their best start in franchise history at 5-0. And I mentioned Vegas. The Oilers are 5-0. Everybody wants to talk about that around here, out here in the Bermuda Triangle. The NHL's Bermuda Triangle. The Jets are on a winning streak. They don't play tonight. But your Leafs, you saw the fans are throwing their jerseys on the ice in Toronto. That was before they lost 7-1 to Pittsburgh.
Without Crosby, Malkin, Letang, right?
Can we all take a minute and worship at the church of Moose DuPont get the sermon on the Leafs?
Clark, I talked to Clark about this a while ago because I finally settled down and watched the documentary on Amazon Prime on the Leafs last year. Sheldon Keefe, I think, is the problem.
Come on, they just signed him to an extension.
Spicy.
Yeah, but that was... I saw this on social media that Dubas was just giving him a lifeline so that when he leaves, he's got 2 years of severance, basically.
Oh, I've seen that happen before.
We've seen that. Taking care of your guy. They've been together a long time. But when I watched that documentary, it made me really like Kyle Dubas and really not like Sheldon Keefe.
I'm sure Kyle Dubas is a nice guy. I don't doubt that for a second.
Maybe think that like he knows what he's doing. Shanahan, they're fine. But Keefe, I don't think is the right guy. I don't think he relates to the players very well. I think he's got a little bit of the mindset, and we'll see where it goes. I would now put him on the hot seat.
Who hired him?
His buddy, Kyle. Right?
Who gave him the extension?
Yeah.
Right. So I don't care how good a guy Kyle Dubas is. Maybe Kyle Dubas is a lot of fun at parties. Maybe he should go run the Kinsman Club. Sometimes you need a jerk in there. Sorry.
Well, and there's a problem. I think there's a disconnect right now between the coaching staff and the team.
Yeah, that's never good. I didn't mention who's coming up on the program today, by the way. Broadway Bernie Nicholls, New York Rangers and Los Angeles Kings star. Broadway Bernie Nicholls. And from NHL.com, Minnesota, Jessi Pierce. She covers the Wild. The warm-up, by the way, is brought to you by eCold Electric, our annual fall promotion. Sale is on now with special pricing on hundreds of in-stock items. eCold Electric, let's get to work. It's Steve at eCold Electric, right? I feel terrible. We've had to move this all around. He was going to come into the studio, and then we've had the last-minute trip to Edmonton, last-minute trip to Calgary, last-minute trip to Saskatoon. We're here all week, right? Try the veal. So if he wants to come in this week, we can. We're not through all the points yet. We haven't got to our weekend photo album. One point that I have here, you can text us on this, the 306-840-8777 text line for Prairie Mobile. God's team, the Regina Pats, have lost 7 in a row, including a 4-1 loss at the Saskatoon Blades on Sunday. And people were filling up my inbox, my notifications on Sunday saying, oh, he didn't look that great. He looks average to me. Pats are bad. Blades look great. Connor Bedard, the next Connor McDavid, is struggling a little bit, and people are saying, what's with all the hype? He's Secretariat playing with a bunch of Clydesdales. It pains me to say it. It's not that I don't believe that he's unhappy. I just interviewed him Friday night. You have a photo of it. He was smiling. He scored on the breakaway. He looked fine. But he can't do it alone. He doesn't have Leon Draisaitl with him. He doesn't have Evgeny Malkin with him. And you would have hoped the Pats would have got a little better in the Connor Bedard years, and instead they've gotten worse. And they've got Swift Current this weekend, which is a home-and-home. We'll be broadcasting the home game Saturday night. But, again, the guy's selling tickets on the road. People are going to see him. And they're going, where's the hype? He can't do it alone. Connor McDavid isn't doing it alone. This kid's being forced, I'm sorry to say, I'm saying it the way it is right now, to do it alone. So there's buzz of a blockbuster trade coming for the Pats to fortify their lineup to give Connor Bedard somebody to play with. But I don't know whether that's true or not. Again, my phone, you were with me all weekend. All these rumors and buzz and stuff. I'm like, I don't care anymore. I have a chance at the fresh start of a life here. I'm not getting into that. I show up at the games, call the games, and I go home. I'm not getting into the rest of what he's thinking and what they're thinking. But I know what I see. And the kid can't do it by himself. And so far, he's had to do it by himself. Still think he's the next Marcel Dion, which incidentally, there's nothing wrong with that either. He's in the 500-goal club.
Oh, yeah.
Hall of Fame, distinguished career. The greatest player to never win a Stanley Cup's Marcel Dion. And that's probably what the next Connor Bedard is. And by the way, we were with hockey people on the weekend. Was it Babcock? Somebody. Maybe it was scouts, and they were like, Bedard's shot. They're comparing it to Austin Matthews. At 16, he's that good, but he can't do it alone. We haven't got to NFL yet. We haven't got to World Series yet. So we'll do that next. It's a Monday here on the RP Show. You're watching on the Game Plus television network. Live streaming on YouTube and Facebook and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
In the heat of the summer, familiar sounds, feeling the air, it's the best thing anywhere. Just give me back my game. 'Cause I live for the drama, I live for the emotion. No one can take me down. Bring me back my football.
BetRegal.net, exclusive sports gaming partner of the CFL.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Comfort has always been something we as people strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives focusing on the things that matter. Our focus at FlameTech has remained the same for more than 20 years. Now more than ever, we need each other to support our local businesses. As an industry leader in combustion services, we are proud to attend to the needs of our communities and support the local economy.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Safety is a primary pillar at Core Grade. We have core certification. Our workers are following best practices in the industry for safety. We always want to make sure that our contractors, us here at the shop, and our customers can come to work and go home at the end of every day. Give Core Grade Systems a call today.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar Buying Group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Hey, honey, can you get one of the kids to show me how this Twitter thing works? Honey, I need to get on Instagram. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Welcome back. It is episode number 598 of Canada's daytime sports talk show. We're pleased to be live on Game Plus television today across all 10 provinces and 31 states, plus YouTube and Facebook. And a big howdy to our online Listen Live listeners, audio only, at rodpedersen.com/listen live. Don't text us. Not right now. The text line, I believe, is in our vehicle from Capital Auto Mall.
Put an APB out on the text line.
Yeah. Couldn't find it here. It was a bit of a blur on the weekend. We were up at the University of Saskatchewan. We were at the football stadium. We were at the hockey rink. We had a tour of the whole place. all of the facilities. And then I got a text message from Mike Jenkins, their longtime marketing guy. Hey, did you... No, it was from Shannon, actually, the athletics director, the chief athletics officer. Did you leave a phone up here? Don't!
She texted me too, right? Did somebody on your team leave a phone here? I'm like, I don't know. I got mine. I text my team, but if they're missing the phone, they're not going to get the text. She didn't tell me that the phone had a giant Rod Pedersen face on the back of it.
Right.
I would have said, oh, that's the text line.
Hence, so they knew that it was ours. So anyways, it's been misplaced momentarily. So don't text us. You can write us, though, on Facebook and Twitter. Or you can email us, too, but we won't get that for like a day. Like Friday night, there was one of our viewers in London, Ontario. Can't even remember his name. I think I deleted it now. But he goes, I watch every day on Rogers Cable, Game Plus TV. Here's an idea for a poll question. And it had to do with the National Football League, which I'm getting to here in a moment. His idea of a question was, which streak lasts longer? The Detroit Lions losing streak or the Arizona Cardinals winning streak? And coming out of Week 7, both streaks were extended. Detroit lost again, even though they had a lead in the third quarter on the Rams. They are getting better.
Yeah.
And the Cardinals won again, but they were playing Houston, and everybody beats Houston. But anyways, if you email us, we won't get it until later in the day. Do we have the photos ready, Clark, by the way? Right now, as we open up the second segment of this program, we say share with us your weekend photos and get a chance to be featured on the RP Show by using the hashtag RP Show. It's brought to you by Great Western Lager. And here are some of our photos. I don't know if these other guys put their photos in, but I did. This is from the Wheat Bowl on Saturday that Darren and I were at. I don't know the weather conditions because my hands were too frozen to open my phone, other than maybe take a photo, I guess. But that's the green guys nearest you is the University of Saskatchewan Huskies. The far side is the University of Regina Rams. They were in all white, and it was a great game, and the Huskies won 28-17. This was a tour of the University of Saskatchewan women's hockey team. And Dave watches every day. Dave Westbury, he showed us he's got the TV on right by his skate sharpener, watching every day on Game Plus television.
Yeah.
How about that?
That's pretty awesome. Yeah, it's on right now. So that's the women's locker room.
Yeah.
What a beautiful facility. They've done a great amount of
jaw-dropping.
Work there. It's unbelievable.
What else do we have? That's the Moose and I. We dangled back into the sweatpants capital to call a hockey game Friday night, the Regina Pats and the Saskatoon Blades. And that was prior to the game. And our intern, Olivia, took that photo. This was a pit stop along the way. Davidson, Saskatchewan, the home of Vegas Golden Knights defenseman Braden McNabb.
Yeah.
Anybody else put in photos? That's it.
I'm with you all weekend, so I knew our photos would
Fair enough.
They'd be the same. But you did tweet it, and we got some viewer photos in there. We just didn't get them on the screen. So
viewers have sent in their photos. I asked you to do that. Go to my Twitter feed, @Rod Pedersen, put in your weekend photos.
Yeah.
An original 16 to fit your active lifestyle. A superior taste with only 80 calories and 2.5% alcohol. Taste without compromise. Purchase at a store near you today. Before we continue on the quick six show topics here, I'll just update the poll for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center. The poll question today is, who should be the next general manager of the Ottawa Redblacks? Because they fired Marcel Desjardins today. And your options are Chris Jones, Paul LaPolice, Jim Pop, Brendan Taman, or other. And who was it that said G. Roy Simon should be on the... Chris Milo wrote in. Okay, Chris Milo, former Red Blacks kicker, former Rough Riders kicker, he's kicked in and said that G. Roy Simon should be the next GM in Ottawa. So you got 24 hours to vote on that. And I always do that. Wheaton Kia hat goes tumbling. To the NFL, Week 7. We can't ignore that. The Dallas Cowboys did not play. America's team had a bye. I somewhat took my eye off the ball on Sunday because there was some travel for me. I was exhausted after being on the road since Tuesday.
Yeah.
So I watched bits and pieces of the game, but I spent more of my time this morning back in the gym, on the treadie, watching the highlights, and just seeing what went on. And the number one game that they highlighted on SportsCenter, by the way, was the Tennessee Titans Home win. So I'll turn it over to you. That was a big one.
It was a big one. It was, can I say an ass kicking? Because it was.
Sure.
You know, I don't often, but it was. I mean, 3 points for the Kansas City Chiefs. When we go into that game, we thought, okay, Tennessee's going to play well because Kansas City has a pretty poor defense. And they moved the ball almost at will. What was the big shock was that Tennessee's defense played that well against Kansas City. That was the biggest shock because, you know, Kansas City, their record isn't as good as it should be. They've struggled a little bit, but their offense has still been really good until this week. Derrick Henry was good again. Ryan Tannehill throwing the football. A.J. Brown's back. So the Titans, that was a statement win for them. And what was the biggest shock, you know, when they're talking about it this morning, this is a Titans team that lost to the New York Jets, by the way. They lost to the Jets. Now, they were all banged up and missing their top 2 weapons and all that kind of stuff, but they're a good football team. They really are. So that was the highlight of Week 7 for sure. And there were some other shockers. Cincinnati beating Baltimore was another big one. And they really laid one on the Baltimore Ravens, but Cincinnati's a good football team. One of their losses, a really close loss against Green Bay. Their offense is really good. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase are looking very, very good. I mean, another 200-yard game for Jamar Chase. Their defense is pretty good, stopping the run. So they made a statement win. It was a pretty good Week 7. I mean, Tom was Tom. Aaron Rodgers was Aaron Rodgers. Those new Green Bay uniforms looked really good, really sharp. It was a good Week 7.
A lot of trick plays. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it was good. But this wasn't a weekend that I was totally into the National Football League. I thought I would defer to you because your Titans were playing. My team was not. We'll settle earlier into the viewer comments here today. A lot of them want to talk about the Canadian Football League because it's not every day that a general manager gets fired. And that happened today with Marcel Desjardins. As a matter of fact, word travels fast. Apparently, all the muckety-mucks, all the suits from OSEG, the Ottawa Sports and Entertainment Group, they were sitting in an office at TD Place Stadium when Marcel showed up for work this morning. You haven't had one of those, have you? I have.
You know,
I have.
When you come to the outside door and it's like,
the key's not working.
Did it touch my phone and deactivate the key? You know, the key fob? It's not working. It's not letting me in. The key card. That's a tough day.
Apparently, that's what happened with Marcel Desjardins today. And I will say, I like him a lot. I've been to several league meetings with him. We always had visits. He was always very, I thought, upfront and forthright. And while he's done a tremendous job in Ottawa, he had to go. Jeff Kabilis is watching in Winnipeg. He says, I didn't see that firing coming. They're 2-9. They're 2-9. What did you see coming? And somebody wrote in here and said, is Paul LaPolice head coaching material, their head coach? Sometimes dig a little deeper. And I understand where you're coming from because I used to be like that. Like, for instance, my good friend Lorne Mulliken, when he was the head coach of the Chicago Blackhawks, they weren't very good when Lorne was there. And he'd been an assistant in Pittsburgh and San Jose. But in Chicago, he didn't do very well. Must be not a good coach. History will show you the Blackhawks were terrible for the entire 90s and into the early part of the 2000s. They didn't have any good players. I was looking at it like you're looking at it. Paul LaPolice has been the head coach of terrible teams. It's not on him. And this falls, I'm sorry, on Marcel Desjardins. I think he's made some questionable moves on a variety of fronts. I think allowing Trevor Harris to walk was a bad decision. History may show that it was the right decision. Who knows? He didn't light the world on fire, I guess, in Edmonton. He had some top players retire here during COVID and going into the season. Brad Sinopoli comes to mind, the star center, Alex Mateus, a former #1 overall pick. But every team had surprise retirements. Ask the Rough Riders and Brennan Labatt. So, yet that was an even play. COVID was an even playing field for everybody. And Ottawa was 3-15 before COVID, the last year that they played. So, no, anybody that's surprised by this move this morning just hasn't really been paying attention to what's going on. And when I put Paul LaPolice in the poll, as the potential next general manager, it's because there is a movement, from what I understand, to give him both titles, GM and head coach. But you see what I'm saying, that great players make great coaches, crappy players make crappy coaches. That didn't just dawn on me, but you might want to file that.
Yeah, and, the question comes in, why not? Why do it now and not wait till the end of the season? Well, again, it becomes a saying of hire slow and fire fast. As soon as you know. Why keep somebody in a job when you know they're not the future? And if it's Lapo, or if it's somebody else coming in to take that position, or if the assistant GM is going to do it for the rest of the year, you can start using this time to evaluate your team, set up culture the right way, do things properly, and get a jump start on next season, right? What you do day in and day out today will help determine what you're going to look like on day one tomorrow. So this is an opportunity for them to get a jump start on next season by making this move now.
Doing the back and forth here with our viewers, Chris Bird in King City, Ontario says, why wait? The Redblacks are so done. May as well fold their hand and work on the dealer for a better hand, which is what you're saying.
Yeah.
And that was what, it was a month ago that I was reporting that Desjardins was going to get fired. And, I think you were privy to the conversation. One of these CFL insiders said to me, no, Rod, he's super tight with the chairman there, and I don't think he's going to get fired. And I'm like, what, are they waiting to get better? Because they're not. They're by far the worst team in the CFL. By far. So, here we are. One more from Drew Koser. The Brent Sutter of the Prairie Junior Hockey League writes in and it says, Rod, Dupes, the Pilot Butte Storm, top of the league at 7-1-1.
How about
so we're pointing that out for the Brent Sutter of the Prairie Junior Hockey League. Drew Koser, also host of the Off the Hosel podcast. Do we have Broadway in? Awesome. Moose, we'll see you back here in a while.
Sounds good.
Bernie Nicholls joins us next. You're watching the RP Show on the Game Plus television network, YouTube, and Facebook live streaming and 24-hour sports radio at rodpeterson.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Peterson Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Peterson Show now.
Addiction. It destroys relationships, families, and lives. It makes individuals and the people who love them feel powerless. But the good news is that addiction is a treatable illness. At Aurora Recovery Center, we provide everything you need to build a solid foundation for your recovery, with holistic, evidence-based treatment tailored to each individual. Located in Gimli, Manitoba, on the shores of Lake Winnipeg, Aurora can help regardless of whether or not you feel ready or have tried before. Aurora Recovery Center. Recovery for life. Visit aurorarecoverycenter.com for more information today.
Hey, Dawn.
Hey, Quinn.
We have a surprise for you.
Oh, my.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Prairie Mobile is your SaskTel authorized dealer. Whether you're looking for talk, text, or data, shared, unlimited, or business plans, Prairie Mobile will help you find the SaskTel wireless plan that's right for you. Visit us online at prairiemobile.com.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar buying group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services, and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Did you know you can catch all the best moments from the show on all our social media platforms? Now, back to the studio with Rod.
Welcome back, everybody. Canada's daytime sports talk show continues. Very excited about this next chat. Broadway Bernie Nicholls played 1,127 National Hockey League games with the LA Kings, New York Rangers, Edmonton Oilers, New Jersey Devils, Chicago Blackhawks, and San Jose Sharks. I think of him as a king. That's where my favorite hockey cards of Bernie's were from. And I got a lot of great questions for him that don't entirely pertain to hockey. What are you doing? Okay, we got Broadway Bernie Nicholls now, the pride of Haliburton, Ontario. How you doing, Bernie?
I'm doing great, Rod. How you doing?
Very well, thank you. I should mention that you are the NHL ambassador for BetRegal.net. And before we go any further and get into the deep hockey talk, how did that association come about, Bernie?
I had a friend of mine here mentioned it to me. I've always been into that sort of thing my whole life. And it's a Canadian-based group. So it was easy for me to want to get involved, you know? So that was basically the way it happened.
Well, I think when I saw your name on there, along with, of course, Damon Allen and Matt Dunnigan, I'm like, this is perfect. And for our younger viewers, Bernie was with the Kings 81 to 90. The Wayne years, you saw all the transformation, Bernie. And listen, I just get off my chest now. What I heard was that you and John Candy had a very special relationship in those McNall years and Wayne years. Can you speak about that, the great John Candy, and how you guys got to be such close friends?
Yeah, John was a huge hockey fan, Canadian, which was awesome. I was fortunate to go on a couple trips with John. We actually went up one time to Carmel and played Cypress Point, Pebble Beach up there with John and Wayne, Bruce, and Craig Stadler. So I did some traveling with John, played with him different times, but always seen him around the rink. And, you know, he buys the Argonauts with Bruce and Wayne. So to know John, what a Superman. And it was a lot of fun to say you know him and to be his friend. So you miss John, but just a super guy.
Yeah, it seemed like a very exciting time. And we can talk about some stories in a moment, but you had mentioned to producer Clark that you wanted to talk about the plight of the Leafs. 6th in the Atlantic Division, 2-3-1, and getting spanked in their last 2 outings. What is going on with the Toronto Maple Leafs?
Well, you know, I think being a Canadian, growing up here, last year was so wrong, right? Like I always tell people, there was an international league is what they should have been in. Like that league was so bad. And for the most part, other than Toronto, every team until maybe 3/4 of the way through, then Ottawa started playing a little bit better, Winnipeg, Vancouver, but they were just god awful. And Toronto just beat up on them. But like I said, it was a minor league division they were playing in. And I think everybody got their hopes up. And I feel bad for, and don't get me wrong, with Matthews, like Sittler and those guys, the records that he might have broke, or the goalie records, they played against nobody. And I knew once they got in the playoffs, I thought they'd beat Montreal. But first time they played a team out of their so-called division, they were going to get spanked because they hadn't played a good team all year. And this is no different this year. They're just not as good as people think, or maybe hope, I guess. So it's sad because I have a lot of friends that love them, and I'm just a hockey fan, right? And it's tough sometimes when you see or hear people talk about how good they think they are, but they're not. And I think, you've seen enough hockey and maybe can't kind of say exactly what I've said, but there's not that good.
No, I can say whatever I want. But the thing is, Bernie, is you're not just a fan, so stop it. 1,127 games in all these other markets. And I never thought you'd go back and settle in Ontario. Why did you, by the way? Other than it's home, I guess?
Absolutely. I've said this different times, and people always ask you, where's your favorite place to play, right? And for me, it was L.A. Loved Chicago. Loved everywhere I played. But as a Canadian boy, you have to play in Canada. And for me, I got to play in Edmonton. But like I said, I lived in California for a long time, and California's beautiful, New York. But for some reason, home's here. And I'm back home now for good. And I don't know, it's tough. A lot of people know up north where I come from, Halliburton. Wintertime may be a little time to get out for a couple months, but the fall spectacular summer is. There's just not a better place in the world than where I'm from.
Right. Well, you could literally go wherever you want in the wintertime. But, here's the thing about the Leafs. I did not know we would go down this road today, Bernie, and I'm more than happy that we are. But I was just with Mike Babcock on the weekend, and I just feel like Babs, I think it might have ruined his love for coaching being in Toronto. And now with the lopsided losses of the Leafs the last two games, I'm hearing people say, it's so hard to be in Toronto, so how you can't get away from it. I don't know. I'm not from there, so maybe they're right. But I think it would be a dream to play there. How can you use the media as an excuse for the team being crappy?
Yeah, and I hear that different times. It's hard to play in Toronto. Play in New York. There's not a bigger media than New York. I loved coming home to play in Toronto. I don't know how you couldn't love to play where you're from or in Toronto, period. Yeah, there's more media and this and that, but you think there wasn't in Edmonton with Gretz, or when Gretz came to LA, New York, Chicago, all the original 6 teams. That's just a cop-out. That's an excuse for people. It's hard to play in New York or in Toronto. Why? There's pressure on you to play well? You're getting paid millions of dollars to play well. I don't think that's hard. So that's just a cop-out to me.
Okay, thank you. We're on the same page there. Now, on that Scotia North Division last year, which I never got tired of all Canadian matchups every night. I'm sorry. Maybe I don't have the trained eye to say that the hockey wasn't as good. Montreal did make it all the way to the Stanley Cup final. They clearly were a good team. I don't know what's going on there this year yet, per se. They're a little banged up. But how would you explain that the Habs made it all the way through?
No, like I said, they played in a terrible division, so they're getting in, because if they played in the division they're in now or the year before, I'm not sure they would. Like, you look at both Florida teams, Carolina, Boston, they may not have got in, but they did. But the thing with Montreal is they're so built for the playoffs. They had the big D, maybe best goalie in the world. So to me, they were built for success, and they showed it. I didn't think they would have beat Vegas, but they did, and they did it because of good goaltending and great D, and that's what wins in playoffs anyway. So they get in, to me, because they played in a bad division. To get out of whatever division you want to call that, I call it the East Coast division or West Coast whatever division. That's easy because there's no teams in it other than Toronto, but they're not built for the playoffs anyway. So
I'm loving it. Well,
there you go.
We are out of time, but Bernie, I hope that we can bring you back to do it. And BetRegal's the official betting partner of this show. You're the NHL ambassador for BetRegal. Can we just, before we let you go, just talk a little bit more about BetRegal and what people should know about it?
Well, it's, I've always said this before with, the one good thing about BetRegal is it's BetRegal.net. They have a platform there that teach people, you can play for free, teach people how to gamble if you want to gamble. I think for years, it wasn't legal. You have people on the side, bookmakers, this and that. It's done right. It's legal. It's fun. You learn how to do it. You do it right. So I think that's the best part about that is you can go, they got BetRegal.net. You go there, that site, you learn what it's all about. You can play, have fun. And then if you feel like you want to do it for real, then, there's a possibility you can do it there too.
I'm encouraging people to do the same thing. My family's texting me about your hat, Bernie. Season 4 of Yellowstone's coming out right away. Who's your favorite Dutton child?
Best show ever.
Who's your favorite Dutton child?
Yeah, Rip is probably my favorite. They're all so good. What a great show. It's my favorite show. I can't wait. I've seen all 3 episodes probably 5 times. And every time you watch it, it's amazing. So Kevin Costner does such a great job. The scenery is spectacular. It's just a great show. So
it is amazing.
As your family's telling you, it's on in like less than 2 weeks. Episode or season 4, 2-hour special to start with. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, we should have a virtual party to watch it, I think. Bernie, thanks for this. Yeah. We'll do it again soon.
Thanks, Rod. My pleasure.
Broadway Bernie Nicholls joining us from Ontario to talk a little NHL at BetRegal.net. And, of course, Yellowstone. We'll be back with a sports update right after this. You're watching the RP Show on the Game Plus Television Network, YouTube and Facebook Live, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpeterson.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Peterson Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Peterson Show now.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep.
A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at BetRegal.net.
Capital is Regina's trusted Ford Lincoln dealership. Whether you're on the market for a new or pre-owned vehicle, we got you covered. And when it's time for service work, you can trust our factory-trained technicians who specialize in repairing any make or model. But don't take our word for it. Check out CapitalFordLincoln.com to see how we roll and to learn about what other customers are saying about working with us. Your dealership experience should be fun, easy, and transparent. And that's what you get when you choose Capital Ford Lincoln, Regina's trusted Ford Lincoln dealership.
Prairie Mobile is your SaskTel authorized dealer. Whether you're looking for talk, text, or data, shared, unlimited, or business plans, Prairie Mobile will help you find the SaskTel wireless plan that's right for you. Visit us online at prairiemobile.com.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
At Core Grain, we strive to be the most qualified grain storage and grain conditioning experts in Canada. Visit us today at coregrain.ca. Core Grain, doing the right thing for your farm.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersonshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersonshop.com.
Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
Welcome back, everybody. It is the final segment of Hour 1. We have found the text line. So if anybody needs to make a call, I have a phone. It was in the Capital GMC RP Show wagon. There's breaking news as we jump into the sports update. Breaking news from this Monday morning. The Ottawa Redblacks announced they have relieved general manager Marcel Desjardins of his duties. Desjardins, the first and only GM in Redblacks history, was the architect behind 3 Grey Cup appearances and 1 championship in 2016. The first for the Redblacks since the club entered the league in 2014. Assistant GM Jeremy Snyder takes over on an interim basis. Elsewhere in sports, because of scheduling and COVID-19, the Astros and Braves haven't seen each other since 2017. They'll now meet for Game 1 of the World Series Tuesday night at Houston's Minute Maid Park. Framber Valdez gets the ball for the Astros, while former Houston ace Charlie Morton takes the mound for Atlanta. The Toronto Raptors are back at Scotiabank Arena tonight. They welcome the Chicago Bulls for the 4th game of the new NBA season. Toronto has a 1-2 record, while the Bulls lead the Eastern Conference at 3-0. 3 Canadian teams are on the ice in the National Hockey League tonight. The Leafs look to bounce back from a 7-1 loss when they take on the Carolina Hurricanes. The Flames are at Madison Square Garden facing the New York Rangers, and the Ottawa Senators host Alex Ovechkin and the Washington Capitals. And I always say those Washington-Ottawa games are special in a battle of capital cities. Monday Night Football, the New Orleans Saints return from their bye week to face the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle has dropped 2 straight and will again be without injured quarterback Russell Wilson. Geno Smith will take the snaps for the 2-4 Seahawks. This sports update for Ballers Rec Room. Check out our brand new line of games. Book your group or business Christmas party now for the Tap Brewhouse and Drive-Thru Liquor Store, where you'll never need to ask to have the CFL games put on their televisions. And for Red Bull Canada, Red Bull gives you wings. How about that Bernie Nicholls, by the way? I never in a million years thought he would appear on the show wearing a Yellowstone hat and we could have a Yellowstone discussion. How about that? You're right, guys. We'll talk about his thoughts on the Leafs. And I see the text lines full with Ontario Leaf fans with their thoughts on the play of the Buds. Exciting hour 2 coming up after this on Game Plus TV.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar Buying Group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Capital is Regina's trusted GMC Buick Cadillac dealership. Whether you're on the market for a new or certified pre-owned vehicle, we got you covered. And when it's time for service work, you can trust our factory-trained technicians who specialize in repairing any make or model. But don't take our word for it. Check out capitalgmc.ca to see how we roll and to learn what other customers are saying about working with us. Your dealership experience should be fun, easy, and transparent. And that's exactly what you'll get when you choose Capital GMC, Regina's trusted GMC Buick Cadillac dealership.
Prairie Mobile is your SaskTel authorized dealer. Whether you're looking for talk, text, or data, shared, unlimited, or business plans, Prairie Mobile will help you find the SaskTel wireless plan that's right for you. Visit us online at prairiemobile.com.
Addiction. It destroys relationships, families, and lives. It makes individuals and the people who love them feel powerless. But the good news is that addiction is a treatable illness. At Aurora Recovery Center, we provide everything you need to build a solid foundation for your recovery, with holistic, evidence-based treatment tailored to each individual. Located in Gimli, Manitoba, on the shores of Lake Winnipeg, Aurora can help regardless of whether or not you feel ready or have tried before. Aurora Recovery Center. Recovery for life. Visit aurorarecoverycenter.com for more information today.
At Core Grain, we strive to be the most qualified grain storage and grain conditioning experts in Canada. Visit us today at coregrain.ca. Core Grain, doing the right thing for your farm.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Now,
we are airing in Boston, Chicago, New York, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C.
How about that?
Washington, Oregon, Idaho, California, Arizona, Colorado, Oklahoma, Florida, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Indiana, Vermont, Maine. I've been everywhere, man.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Welcome to Hour 2 of the RP Show, everybody. It's brought to you by Core Grain, doing the right thing for your farm. The Moose said earlier, what did you say? Today's show's going to be intense. Because we both kind of woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Not together, in separate beds, but same idea, right?
How about that?
And here we are, but I don't know, our day has just taken a miraculous turn up. And I don't know, the interview with Bernie Nicholls certainly raised our spirits too.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So that was fun. But we're settling into Hour 2, as I said, and this is what I love. What do you got?
Well,
you got something to say?
Just on Bernie. Anytime that there's a Yellowstone fan, I wanted to run out and show him my brand because I'm like, oh, he'll love that.
Oh, you should have.
So next time he comes on, which I hope isn't too long, Clark, we got to show him the brand, okay? Maybe after the season comes out in November.
Yep. I see that our good man Mike Soulier is watching, the trainer of the Cougar men's hockey team, and I can only imagine that he's in isolation right now after a positive COVID outbreak with his hockey team on the weekend. This is why we stop booking interviews at the start of Hour 2, because we just sit here and have coffee and deliberate on what happened in Hour 1, right? And look ahead and still recap what was going on the weekend. There is breaking news today. The Ottawa Redblacks have fired general manager Marcel Desjardins. I think I was talking about that a month ago. I was ahead of my time, I guess. I think they were, waiting for the season to turn around. They think very highly of Marcel Desjardins. I don't know if you've seen the outpouring of tweets from their chairman and their PR guy. Everybody liked Marcel. I like Marcel. But they're 2-9. They weren't getting better. All good things come to an end. And now they're looking for their next general manager and getting a head start on next year. And by the way, our poll question today for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center is, who should be the next general manager of the Ottawa Redblacks? And your options are Chris Jones, Paul LaPolice, who's the current head coach, Jim Popp, who I feel is the best GM in the history of the CFL, or Brendan Taman. And leading the way is Chris Jones, who's under contract, I think, until just the end of the year for the Toronto Argonauts.
Yeah.
And I'll get to your viewer comments in a second, too. Yeah, let's bring everybody. Jenna Reagan's watching in Southern California, and she says, the Redblacks may not be good, but I'm still enjoying the CFL. So that's good.
Great.
We all need people like that. Jeff, the Stamps fan, writes in, and he says, I can't wait for Yellowstone. Season 4 coming out in 2 weeks' time, as Bernie Nicholls would have you know. And he says, also really looking forward to Season 6 of Better Call Saul. Better Call Saul was the spin-off of Breaking Bad, and I just could not get into Better Call Saul. I've tried like 3 times to watch the first episode. I couldn't. I'm like, this is bad. And Breaking Bad was like my favorite Netflix series, number 1.
I think that might be an issue, too, because Breaking Bad was so good, and you want Better Call Saul to be Breaking Bad, and it's not.
Why can't it be?
I think if you watch Better Call Saul and you've never really seen Breaking Bad, you probably have a better shot of enjoying it. But I don't know. I haven't gotten into it either.
Yeah, why can't it just be a continuation of Breaking Bad?
Oh.
Why not? I really like Saul.
I know. Well, there still has to be a movie, a Breaking Bad movie. I got to see what happened to Walter White when he was bleeding out on the driveway. If you haven't seen the end of it, I'm sorry, I just spoiled it.
Spoiler alert. Checking in with our viewers. Hey, we could do a whole show on Netflix, and I think it would be very popular. The Puck and Pigskin podcast, YYC. That's Calgary. Writing in says, can't wait for Season 4 of Ozark. Yeah, I love me some Jason Bateman.
Mm-hmm.
I like most things. How about another season of Bloodline?
Well, we got to wait. Kingdom.
I'll film it.
Animal Kingdom's rolling.
Yeah, where
now.
are they?
They're in the season, but you'd have to pay or actually watch it week to week on AMC. So waiting for that one to come to Prime or Netflix or wherever we watch it.
Jason Austin watching on YouTube says you can't have a CFL team without a quarterback. Right. But that probably falls under the responsibilities of your general manager. So don't blame Paul LaPolice for the fact the team is in the crapper at 2-9, but I think that falls on the general manager. I'm moving off Netflix and getting back into sports. Other than to say we should have a poll. Who's your favorite character or child of the Dutton family? Because I had so many people say to me, which one are you? They all think I'm going to say Jamie, you know, the guy that was raised on the farm ranch but wears a suit later. No, I'm Beth. Crazier than an outhouse rat. That's me. And anybody that knows me would not argue that, but it would shock the hell out of most people.
Yeah.
From James in Borden, Manitoba, I feel sorry for Kraken fans that figured they would be the next Golden Knights. They really look like an expansion team. Let's get it back onto the NHL train. But who really thought that they were going to be any better than what they are? And I get here why there's a major disconnect between the marketing team and the hockey or football or baseball operations team. Major disconnect. Because those Kraken, the marketing staff, you saw the whole thing, right? Mm-hmm. Pumping up everything. We're the first to do this, the first to do that. We've sold the most this. Maybe just chill a little because the team's not going to be very good. Vegas, well, they started in goal with Marc-Andre Fleury. I mean, they were great right out of the gate. Won their opening game, and as we all know, went to the Stanley Cup final. But I just feel like the expectations were raised too high by the team. They should have been out saying, Seattle Kraken. Hashtag just happy to be here.
Yeah.
Because that's really what they are.
They're happy to be there. You know, some of the pieces were in place. I mean, you've got a great captain, Mark Giordano, but again, he's been around a while. He's not the same Mark Giordano that was a front runner for, Team Canada and playing Olympic teams, and that's that Mark Giordano, all-star. He still could be, and a great leader. You thought Philip Grubauer was going to be better, and I think he will be, but Grubauer's had a slow start, so you had Marc-Andre Fleury lighting the world on fire, and Grubauer has not. Here's hoping he will. And then just somebody to score goals on a consistent basis. They haven't found their identity yet in Seattle, and I wonder how long that's going to take because it's not happening as fast as it did in Vegas.
I mentioned the Leafs fans are awake.
Mm-hmm.
Ray in the 6, watching Kitchener, Ontario area, says, "Hi, Rod, my Monday morning rant. How embarrassing was the Leafs' performance on Saturday? There's a problem when your big three are not putting points up. All the money's tied up in the three. No cap to add some grit. Thanks to Dubas' strategy and how this team should be built, I would like to hear yours and Darren's take." Then he goes, "Thanks, I heard your views after I sent this." We covered it in the warm-up, of course.
Players don't just become bad overnight.
From the 501, "Hey, Roddy, what's up with our Regina Pats? Do they need to make changes?" Again, covered it in the warm-up. Coffee starts at 10 Mountain. I'm not going back. I covered it already. As our guy Joe Lazito says in New York, he says that's the best 20 minutes in sports right there, the warm-up. We covered all there. You got to be here for it on time. From Dustin in Edmonton, "Play-by-play made the game interesting watching Calgary, Saskatchewan. He's the best of the rest of the guys are boring to watch and listen to." From Dustin, the Doc in Edmonton. I wouldn't necessarily say that. What Rod Smith called the Calgary, Saskatchewan game, and
That's
you
right.
and I watched it at Shoeless Joe's and thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I texted, what's his name? Marshall Ferguson. He was doing the Winnipeg BC game, and I'm like, "Sound good, Marsh? You sound very comfortable in there." And he wrote me back, "Thanks, Roddy," with a fist pound emoji. I liked Marshall Ferguson's play-by-play, so this guy writes in every week and craps on the CFL play-by-play guys, and I'm just not in the mood for it today. These are my guys. David, writing from Church Bridge, Saskatchewan, home of Kevin Kaminsky. He says, depending whoever the new general manager in Ottawa is, could Paul LaPolice be out? And if so, should Richie Hall get another shot as head coach? Richie is the defensive coordinator, of course, of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, the team that is making an historic run for the greatest defense in the history of the Canadian Football League. That's what Richie Hall's doing over there. The guy that they ran out of the rectangle.
Yeah.
From Metal Shingle Guy, he says, after Montreal kicked the Schlitz out of Toronto, does Trevor Harris see the field? Schiltz Creek. This guy wants to sell T-shirts that say Schiltz Creek in Montreal. Are you still going to do that?
They're pretty good. Yeah, if the Montreal fans get on board. They got to go on a run, though. The Owls got to go on a run, and which they are on right now. They got to do some winning, and they might be popular, maybe for the playoffs.
It's 11-11.
And 11 at the time.
Be aware of your thoughts. The opportunity portal is opening. Are you going to walk through it? 1:11 in Eastern time zone. Here's a good one from the 690. This came in over the weekend. He says, Baba, sorry they got rid of you in Moose Jaw, but looks like things worked out well. Maybe you would still be there in the Jaw? I'm thinking, wrong person. Should I? I've been fired a lot of places, but Moose Jaw wasn't one of them. Give me time, and I might add that to the list, but
yeah,
I got to be the wrong person. Was it you? Were you fired at Moose Jaw?
Well, kind of. For a second.
By who?
Tim Hunter.
Oh, right.
Right? For a day or two.
Well, I was thinking about Tim Hunter, by the way. The Stanley Cup champion with the Calgary Flames and longtime NHL assistant coach and Moose Jaw Warriors coach and GM. When you and I were driving across the rectangle yesterday, I'm thinking, I get now why Tim Hunter just wants to live in that beautiful cabin at Buffalo Pound in complete isolation and have the world leave him alone. Right? And go out and probably kill his supper. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shooting deer and moose and ducks. That's what Tim Hunter's doing. And nobody can get at him. I'm like, what a nice life. I get it now.
Yeah.
It's not to say he won't coach again, but it has to be the right opportunity. And that's the thing that I did. I don't know if you got the impression from Mike Babcock like I did. I might have not worded it properly in my weekend column, but it's not that he doesn't want to coach in the NHL again, but I don't think he's going to take just any job in the NHL again. He has the luxury of the financial stability to never work again for the rest of his life. I think he'll be in the NHL again, but I think it's got to be like that perfect situation. And that might be Chicago. There's talent there.
Oh, yeah.
Jeremy Colleton, I'm sorry, it's not getting it. They lost to Detroit yesterday. Nobody loses to Detroit. And in the Chicago market, I don't think you lose to Detroit. You know what I mean?
You don't want to. That's for sure. And, you know, when you have Jonathan Taves and Patrick Kane still there and Seabrook and not Keith anymore, but you had him last season, you still have those memories, Chelsea Dagger and the playoff runs and the Stanley Cups, and that's still there. And so as long as those players are still there, the big name guys, in the fans' mind, the expectations are still that high. And they're not winning games, and it's not looking good. So they need to make changes in a hurry. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's a coaching change. And there is no amount of too soon that would surprise me, right? If they fired him tomorrow, it wouldn't surprise me now. I'd like to see a little bit of patience, but he's definitely on the hot seat.
Leighton Janis, watching in British Columbia, says, come on down to YouTube, where you can rewind the show.
How about that?
We've got way, way, way more viewers on YouTube than Facebook, and of course, more on Game Plus Television, where if you have PVR, you can rewind it. But YouTube streaming is the way to go. It's like Black Monday. It's like people are waiting for coach firings to happen. For instance, Robin watching in the Gateway to the North. He says, Babs to Chicago, which you called it first, Moose. Wasn't it you?
Yeah.
Yeah. He also says Tim Hunter to Regina. God's team has lost 7 in a row, but I don't know who could make them win. Jason Austin on YouTube watching says, Tim Hunter currently playing the role of angry old guy. Get off my lawn. Gran Torino, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Kabilis in Winnipeg says, why did they get rid of Quenneville in Chicago? Because all good things come to an end. That's why. It's not like Quenneville got to be a bad coach either. Relationships sour, believe it or not. Stan Bowman and Quenneville's obviously did. I do want to talk about this for a second. Like Kevin Olenik's watching on YouTube, and he says, Rod, could Wally be back in BC? 2 blowouts in BC Place. So they're expecting Rick Campbell to be fired over there in BC. Baby Yoda is the guy's name on YouTube watching, says the Bombers are good enough to play in the NFL. And I'm hearing a lot of this talk, this poppycock talk. We got to talk about that and more when we come back, okay?
Oh, yeah.
It's the Golden Corral of sports talk. A little bit for everybody. We could talk some World Series, too, if you'd like. Monday Night Football, Saints and Seahawks from the Emerald City. That's all coming up tonight. You're watching the Rod Pedersen Show on Game Plus Television, YouTube, and Facebook, live streaming and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Hey, Matt, how's it going? We have something really special. Holy, it's pretty impressive.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming at the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
Comfort has always been something we as people strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives focusing on the things that matter. Our focus at FlameTech has remained the same for more than 20 years. Now more than ever, we need each other to support our local businesses. As an industry leader in combustion services, we are proud to attend to the needs of our communities and support the local economy.
Capital is Regina's trusted Ford Lincoln dealership. Whether you're on the market for a new or pre-owned vehicle, we got you covered. And when it's time for service work, you can trust our factory-trained technicians who specialize in repairing any make or model. But don't take our word for it. Check out capitalfordlincoln.com to see how we roll and to learn about what other customers are saying about working with us. Your dealership experience should be fun, easy, and transparent. And that's what you get when you choose Capital Ford Lincoln, Regina's trusted Ford Lincoln dealership. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersonshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersonshop.com.
Laid back and kicking it, let's head back to the studio. Here's Rod.
Whoa, how about that? Hang on. Listen, I had to go get a fan. It's my biggest fan. Oh, it is so hot back here. Had to powder our donuts.
4 degrees feels like -2, and Rod's getting a fan.
Oh, well, actually, I'm okay with compared to what's going on outside.
We say we're in the bunker, like in the basement. We're actually up on the top floor.
On the top floor.
And all the heat rises into our space, and it's 1,000,000 degrees, and then the lights add to it.
Not complaining. Just getting a little sweaty over here.
We thought we needed to recreate the Florida. I just haven't piped in any humidity yet into the space.
I can't wait. Okay. The poll question today for Capital Auto Mall, given today's breaking news that the Ottawa Redblacks have relieved General Manager Marcel Desjardins of his duties. The poll question is, who should be the next General Manager of the Ottawa Redblacks? And your options are Chris Jones, who continues to lead on Twitter, by the way, with 32% of the vote. Paul LaPolice and Brendan Tammet are tied with 26%, and Jim Popp, oddly enough, 16% of the vote. Do we have Facebook results or not? No, they're not. Oh, there you go. It's not coming up on the screen. Chris Jones leading there, too. How about that? The guy that you thought you'd seen the last of could end up as the guy running the show in Ottawa. I saw, some guys want to talk NFL. I get it. And I'll get to their comments in a moment. Like Andrew Benson, he's one of our interns. He says, are the Kansas City Chiefs going to turn it around? Or are they looking at a long off season? Darren has to be feeling good this morning. Of course, we covered that in the warm-up, but I'm sure Andrew was watching. That's his job. Troy in Toronto said the same thing. How much trouble are the Chiefs in? I saw Davis Sanchez, our good friend Davis Sanchez, on SportsCenter this morning predicting the Chiefs are going to miss the playoffs. And I will get to that in a moment. However, everybody's talking about the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and their historic run. What are they now, 9-1? And I just want to talk about that for a moment because we're very big in Winnipeg. I think it's number 2 for viewership. Is it not? Mm-hmm. Or is it Edmonton? I keep
Edmonton's our number 2 podcast listens, but in terms of live viewers, Winnipeg, I believe, is our second biggest market.
William, watching on Facebook, says it's first time the Bombers have won first place in the West since 1970. Wait until the vets retire and see. I don't understand why you would make that comment, but that's okay. I think it's actually 1972, but you might be right. There was a commenter here that, where is it about the NFL and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers? Somebody wrote in and said, could the Winnipeg Blue Bombers beat the Detroit Lions, who are now, 0-7? I'm trying to find the comment. I'm sorry. Where the heck is it? Oh, yeah, Baby Yoda said the Bombers are good enough to play in the NFL. Somebody asked if they would beat the Detroit Lions, and that's the poppycock talk. That's silly. Now, I think the Alabama Crimson Tide could beat the Ottawa Redblacks. I really do. So at the bottom end, I believe that the top NCAA college football team could beat the lowest end CFL team. But I don't think the best CFL team could beat anybody in the NFL. Stop it.
Yeah, no. The Jacksonville Jaguars went toe-to-toe with the Cincinnati Bengals, right, on Thursday Night Football, who went toe-to-toe with Green Bay and just beat the pants off of Baltimore. Right? Detroit has a quarterback that just recently went to the Super Bowl. The difference between first and last in the National Football League is still pretty thin. Feels big. The New York Jets beat the Tennessee Titans, who just beat Buffalo and Kansas City back-to-back. The difference, but the parity is crazy. But in the CFL, too, I mean, we know Ottawa, Edmonton, they're having tough seasons, but they still find ways to win the odd game. They can still play at the level. It's not like they don't belong. Yeah, the comparisons.
Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, I think any CFL team would beat any NFL team if they played CFL rules. If they played NFL rules, any NFL team beats a CFL team. I disagree, but unfortunately, we'll never know the answer to that because it's never going to happen.
The only way that happens is if the CFL guys are playing with 12 against 11 NFL players.
And even then, maybe. From Deb in Toronto, she says, hi, Rod and Darren and crew. Still here, watching, listening, and loving the show. Deb in the 416, and she watches on Game Plus television every day. And we're just so darn grateful for her and others like her. Anonymous texter from the 577. It's none of anybody's business to know if you're vaccinated or not. I'm sick of listening to it. Flames coming off that. Wrong person. Ryan, watching in Saratoga, New York, said how to reply to the guy asked if it turned out well after I got fired at Moose Jaw. I think he got the wrong person. He's like, say, new phone. Who dis? I don't think that was meant for me, but
new phone.
Terry Simpson, the former coach of the New York Islanders, said in that feature that I did on him at Dub Network, the more you get fired, the easier it gets. Damn it, if he isn't right.
You just know the person.
He's right.
Okay, where do I sign? We'll get the severance on the way out.
Right. Just make sure you pay me. From Dominic Froome. Bombers versus Detroit Lions in a 2-game aggregate. 1 game NFL rules, 1 game CFL rules. overall points differential wins. A lot of this is relative. I'm going to use this back to a local term here. The Regina Rams football team won 13 national championships, I think, under the legendary Frank McChrystal. Slick. And they were saying, come on, U of S Huskies. Come on, U of S. Let's play the university. Come on, let's play the Huskies. Remember that? Or were you old enough?
Yeah.
And the Huskies were like, just shut it, get away. Stop. And then the Rams got into university football and went 0-8 in their opening year and got their breaks beat off them every week. That's how I feel about the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in the NFL. Can we please stop with this? I see somebody bringing up the 1-5 Miami Dolphins. I believe it's 1-5 now. I was talking to a Dolphins fan on the weekend, and they were like, oh, man, they love the Dolphins down here. They've just been so bad for so long. That's the terrible thing about being trapped in the market when your teams suck. Detroit Lions fans, exact same thing. Sabres fans, if I may.
Yeah. It's
so hard to get a foothold to come back, and there's no light at the end of the tunnel.
I know. There really isn't. And you think Tua was going to be that light for the Miami Dolphins. And you still hope that he will be, but they got some big problems and losing some tough games. I mean, every team in the NFL is good. So, you can't just look at, they're losing to all these bad teams. But that's really tough because you see other markets and then you get envious because they're putting consistently better products on the field and having consistently more success. Detroit is one of them, man. And they play every Thanksgiving. They got such a great fan base, and they don't win anything.
Mandy in Edmonton says we need more time reviewing the CFL games from the weekend. No, I don't think so. I think that we spent just the right amount of time on it. And we covered it last hour in the warm-up, by the way. Interesting. Derek Shatta writes us on Twitter and says, it sounds like the Redblacks want to retain LaPolice. So that would rule Chris Jones out. The report from TSN's Dave Naylor this morning is that the Ottawa football team wants to hire a general manager that will keep Paul LaPolice. And this is what sucks about this. I mean, I don't really care, but you're automatically bringing in a GM and slapping handcuffs on him. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, and that's tough. You can't do that. I don't believe you can do that. But if in the interview process you kind of get an idea of what is your plans at head coach, well, I really think we need to go with an experienced guy who's had success winning as a head coach. Okay, perfect. And the next guy is like, I like Paul LaPolice. I want to keep him, and I think he's the coach right now, and I don't want to disrupt that. Okay, great. He's going in the next interview column because we like that. As opposed to telling him, we want you to keep Paul LaPolice, right? Figure out who actually wants to. Because you need to have, like you said, the handcuffs. You need to have somebody who's actually on board. Because if you're kind of backdoored into something or pushed into something that you don't really believe in, then you're not really going to be as invested or do your job as well. So it'll be a delicate process if that's what they want to do.
Yeah, see, Mandy says, she says she'll have to go back and rewatch. She says she's been distracted throughout. Well, we love Mandy, but we can't tailor our programming to your schedule. You understand that. I hope you understand that. Try and please everybody, and who do you end up pleasing, Darren? Nobody. So you got to please yourself. Who sang it? Do you remember? You don't remember? I played it for you.
Yeah.
Do you remember the name?
No, I don't.
Ricky Nelson.
That's it. Oh, yeah.
How about that?
Garden Party.
I got it on my phone.
Right. Garden Party. Go back and listen to it.
That's right.
People going back and forth between YouTube and Facebook and YouTube, and because one's better to watch on, the other's better to comment on. I don't know. I just sit in this chair. You guys figure out the rest. And by the way, the text line is open, 306-840-8777. It's brought to you by Prairie Mobile, your authorized SaskTel mobility dealer. And while we're at it, addiction, it destroys families, lives, and relationships. But the good news is addiction is a treatable illness. At Aurora Recovery Center, we provide everything you need to build a solid foundation for your recovery with holistic, evidence-based treatment tailored to each individual. Located in Gimli, Manitoba, on the shores of beautiful Lake Winnipeg, we provide a foundation for your recovery with holistic, evidence-based treatment tailored to each individual. Located in Gimli, Manitoba, on the shores of Lake Winnipeg, we can help regardless of whether or not you feel ready or have tried before. Aurora Recovery Center, recovery for life. Go to aurorarecoverycenter.com. I think people are sitting here today finally realizing how, while it is the Golden Corral of sports, it's kind of hard being the chef for the Golden Corral of sports. You know what I'm saying? Rod, what do you think of the Pats? What do they got to do? What do you guys think of the Chiefs? Are they going to miss the playoffs? Hey, what do you think about the CFL games on the weekend? Hey, what do you think about the Leafs?
When I cook a brisket, I spend all day checking on it, making sure it's good, adjusting the temperature, right? Everything. And there's a whole process. But wait a second. You also want steak, which also takes a ton of my attention. And you want I get it. And it's the same in sports, right? Because you need all your attention on all these topics.
Yes, and so further on, we are having a back and forth with Mandy here. She says, before there was a season, there was more CFL talk. I thought we'd spend more time on game reviews when there was a season. Yeah, and before the season, the NHL wasn't playing, and the NFL wasn't playing. So you know the rules, Mandy. We do the talking, and you do the watching. Those are your expectations. That's what you wanted. But that's not what we wanted. See? And she says, love the show. Told my Sask roommate I don't watch for the sports talk, as in hockey, etc., but I like Rod's personality. She might be changing her opinion on that, Moose. Now she says your voice is becoming familiar. LOL. I play it on TV every day. I appreciate you, Mandy. I really do. Do we have Jessi logged in yet, by the way? Okay. We'll have to tell the story in overtime about Shoeless Joe's Sports Bar on Saturday night. Our server, Tasia, remember what she said?
Yeah.
I can't let you two get out of here without telling you my mom, Danny, she watches you guys every day. And yesterday you mentioned Shoeless Joe was on the air. She was all excited. So, hey, Danny. Hey, Tasia. Thanks for watching the RP show. And she watches it on Game Plus television every day. So what did I say I was going to get you to come back and talk about earlier?
The Kansas City Chiefs was one, because somebody wanted to know about the Chiefs if they were done. So we can talk about the Chiefs.
In overtime.
Let's do that.
Okay. Because we're going to Minnesota next. You're watching the RP show on Game Plus Television, Canada's daytime sports talk show. Also YouTube and Facebook Live and 24-hour sports radio at rodpeterson.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Peterson Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Hey, Matt, how's it going? We have something really special. Holy, it's pretty impressive.
Comfort has always been something we, as people, strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives focusing on the things that matter. Our focus at FlameTech has remained the same for more than 20 years. Now more than ever, we need each other to support our local businesses. As an industry leader in combustion services, we are proud to attend to the needs of our communities and support the local economy.
Prairie Mobile is your SaskTel authorized dealer. Whether you're looking for talk, text, or data, shared, unlimited, or business plans, Prairie Mobile will help you find the SaskTel wireless plan that's right for you. Visit us online at prairiemobile.com.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar Buying Group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
In the heat of the summer, familiar sounds, feeling the air, it's the best thing anywhere. Just give me back my game. 'Cause I live for the drama, I live for the emotion. No one can take me down, bring me back my football.
BetRegal.net, exclusive sports gaming partner of the CFL.
Hey, Don.
Hey, Quinn.
We have a surprise for you.
Oh, my.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Oh, yeah, he's back. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Canada's daytime sports talk show continues. We're going to keep rolling with the hockey talk today because it is late October after all, and we don't talk a lot of Minnesota Wild. Jessi Pierce joins us from the Minnesota Hockey Journal, NHL.com, where she covers the Wild, and the Bar Down Beauties podcast. And it looks like they had a beauty last night in St. Paul, unless you're a Wild fan. Our good friend Connor Ingram won his first NHL start. The Predators beat the Wild 5-2. Roman Josi had a 4-point game. First of all, Jessi, welcome to the Rod Pedersen Show. How's your day going?
Thank you. It's good. How about yours? I love the setup you got going here. I'm excited to be a part of this.
Oh, yeah. This is nice to be home. We've been on the road for most of the fall, so it's nice to be back here in the bunker and doing what we do. Hey, it was the first Wild loss of the season last night against Nashville. How did the Preds pull it off, and how's it going over with the mini fans?
I mean, obviously, they hit the panic button. You know, you're 5 games into the season. I think people thought that they were going to go 82-0. I'm not quite sure what the huge concern is. I mean, Minnesota just simply came out flat. I mean, there was no excuse for that either. Nashville had played, as you guys very well know, the night before up in your fair city, as had Minnesota played the night before. So there was no excuse for Minnesota to come out as flat as they did. And then lazy penalties. We saw, I think, 3 tripping penalties. Nashville got out to an early 3-0 start courtesy of 2 power play goals. So really nothing was really clicking for the Minnesota Wild. I mean, their fourth line, their best line, which is nice to see, but that's also when the other lines are also contributing. So, I mean, really it was just kind of a sloppy game, something that they're going to really need to wash down the drain as they hit the road this week and start up in Vancouver on Tuesday.
Was the start unexpected? Really, it was by me to go 4-0 with because they made a decided decision to go away from Suter and Parise and go in a different direction, and yet they continued to win. It looked like they didn't even need them.
I mean, a little bit, right? I think it is. It's a new team. It's a young team, and it's not a full-on rebuild, but it's definitely a reset, a refresh. So you have guys that are coming in. Brandon Duhaime is a new face that's getting a call up from the Iowa Wild of the AHL, getting a look. But you also still have some very familiar guys that were around last year. I think the biggest difference between the Parise-Suter era, not only is the speed and the youthfulness there, but there's just a different vibe in the locker room, which I think has really attributed a lot to the Minnesota Wild success right now and moving forward. But I was a little shocked to see a 4-0, especially when you're allowing the first goal in all 5 of these games to come from behind. You're playing with fire and a little bit of puck luck to get to that quick undefeated start. But now I think that loss will kind of put them back into shake their nerves a little bit and say, all right, let's go, let's play our game and let's not rely on so much puck luck like they had in the beginning.
Jessi, did you ever doubt in August and September that Kirill Kaprizov would sign and play with the Wild this year? Because it was looking dicey there for a while. What was your read on that whole situation?
I mean, it was hard to picture him not coming back, right? It was very weird, despite how far apart the camps seemed at some point in times. Bill Guerin had said, you know what, we're not going to settle for less than 5, and it didn't sound like Kirill Kaprizov's camp wanted more than 2 or 3. So there was a slight concern, but also, what else is he going to do? He wants to play in the best league, and he knows the NHL is the best. He wasn't going to sit out. And he obviously had missed the deadline to play with the KHL. So, I mean, you always have that little kind of wince because this is Minnesota we're talking about. If you guys aren't aware, Minnesota sports fans are very used to being let down, and they always joke that they can't have nice things. This would have fed into that storyline perfectly. But ultimately, I figured they would come to terms and he would make it. I'm a little surprised that they got it done kind of as quickly. He didn't miss too much of camp, which was nice. And that was forward thinking on him and his agent's part by getting him over here ahead of time and vaccinated, which also shows that they were planning to sign as well.
How do you feel that he's played here in these opening 5 games?
He's getting a lot of flack for that as well, right? He has no goals. He's got 3 assists, and he's a superstar. He is getting paid bona fide superstar money now with this new deal. And if you want to be a superstar, you have to play like a superstar night in and night out. So it's a little bit frustrating, but I think you can feel that he's putting that pressure on himself as well. He's gripping that stick just too tight. I mean, head coach Dean Evson said it best in last night's postgame is that he just needs to go back and simplify. I mean, they didn't have the accurate stats, I don't believe, because I think they only credited him with like 2 turnovers last night. And I think I saw more like 4 or 5 turnovers by Kirill Kaprizov. And again, that's because he's trying to get too fancy with it sometimes and trying to take it all on. So, I mean, I think there's room for more improvement. I do want to, cut him a little bit of slack. We've got 60 games with him, right? So he still is young. He's still growing, but he's going to have to learn. It's not going to get any easier down the road. He's going to see some of the best this year, too. I mean, not the Anaheims and the LAs and the teams that Minnesota saw last year. So he's going to really have to elevate his game to prove that he is the superstar that everyone indeed has made him out to be.
Jessi Pierce with us from Minnesota Hockey Journal, NHL.com, and Bar Down Beauties podcast. The Wild now go on the road for a few. They're in Vancouver. I think it's tomorrow, then Seattle after that. What do you expect out of this road trip for the Wild?
I mean, they're going to have to score first. I think that's the biggest thing. Come out on fire and get that first goal finally. Take that monkey off your back and say, hey, we can do this. I think that's been a huge problem. Not that they were playing cocky or arrogant by any means when they were down, but I think they got a little too comfortable in saying, hey, we can let the opposition go up and we know that we can come back and mount that comeback in the third period. But that's not that's not sustainable, right? You need to go out, you need to score that first goal. And I think you really want a good bounce back win in Vancouver to really start this road trip off on the right foot. Get Cam Talbot feeling good. He's been okay, but he's been a little shaky as of late. So I think get that going. And naturally, I think if Kirill Kaprizov can get a goal or 2 or 3 or 4, that's going to just absolutely skyrocket him and his line and their confidence.
Please, Jessi, do me a favor. One thing that we do here is not just talk about the games themselves, but about the personalities. What's your background in the game of hockey that's led to you, I would suggest, with a dream job covering the Wild for these entities I just mentioned?
Yeah, it's funny. I actually never played hockey. I was a basketball player, but my parents both were huge hockey fans, and I just kind of fell in love with the game. I mean, very much like Canada, Minnesota, it's all around us. And once you watch a hockey game, it's hard not to absolutely love it. And then I learned that finding the intricacies, and once I figured out, what a face-off win looked like or what battles and kind of the actual game scheme itself, I'm like, oh, I could do that for a job. So at the age of 18, I said I'd work for the Minnesota Wild, and by the age of 28, I'd made that dream come true. So it's pretty cool. It's a lot of fun. I'm always still learning, and I love interacting with fine folks like you as well, and getting to talk a little hockey anytime I can.
Yeah, good for you. Well, I'm proud of you. Way to go. Bravo. I hope we can do it again. Looking forward to your stuff. Thanks for the follow, and enjoy this Wild season. Jessi, will be talking to you soon.
Sounds good. Thanks, Ron.
Jessi Pierce joining us from the beautiful state of Minnesota, the land of 1,000 lakes. Moose joins us next. It's Viewer Takeover. We'll talk about whatever you people would like, and a sports update too. You're watching on the Game Plus TV network, YouTube and Facebook Live, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpeterson.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep.
A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at BetRegal.net.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Hey, Don.
Hey, Quinn.
We have a surprise for you.
Oh, my.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming at the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
Capital is Regina's trusted GMC Buick Cadillac dealership. Whether you're on the market for a new or certified pre-owned vehicle, we got you covered. And when it's time for service work, you can trust our factory-trained technicians who specialize in repairing any make or model. But don't take our word for it. Check out capitalgmc.ca to see how we roll and to learn what other customers are saying about working with us. Your dealership experience should be fun, easy, and transparent. And that's exactly what you'll get when you choose Capital GMC, Regina's trusted GMC Buick Cadillac dealership.
Safety is a primary pillar at Core Green. We have core certification. Our workers are following best practices in the industry for safety. We always want to make sure that our contractors, us here at the shop, and our customers can come to work and go home at the end of every day. Give Core Green Systems a call today.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Hey Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersenshop.com.
You got something to say? You want to add to the show? What are you waiting for? Don't just sit there. Say something. Now, back to the studio with Rod.
And the Moose is here for overtime. It's brought to you by the Four Seasons Sports Palace. Your home for the UFC. Here's the breaking news. It's not breaking anymore, but it was the first thing this morning. The Ottawa Redblacks have fired general manager Marcel Desjardins. He was the franchise's first GM when it joined the CFL in 2014. Leading our poll for who should be the next GM of Ottawa is Chris Jones. Let's see if it happens. NHL tonight, the Senators are back as they welcome the Washington Capitals. They're looking for a split of a 4-game homestand. The struggling Maple Leafs are in Carolina. The Leafs 2-3-1 so far on the season. They've yet to get a goal from Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner. Flames are at the Rangers. The Astros and Atlanta Braves are making final preparations for Game 1 of the World Series Tuesday night. A few roster decisions need to be made, but both clubs have already declared starters for Game 1. Framber Valdez goes for Houston. Atlanta sending Charlie Morton to the mound. Tom Brady's latest milestone is another untouchable one. Brady became the first player to throw 600 career touchdown passes and then tacked on 2 more in the Bucs' 38-3 rout over Chicago. You saw that Mike Evans, who caught the pass, gave it to a fan, the ball. And then they went to the bench. They're like, Mike, where's the ball? And he's like, did you see they did the subtitles. He goes, I gave it to a fan. Dope. So then they went to the fan and asked for the ball back. Did you see the subsequent interview with the fan?
Was it the kid? It wasn't the little kid.
It was a guy with a like a farmer hat, like a plantation hat.
I didn't see the interview.
And he's like, the fan goes, what am I going to do? Tell Tom Brady no? Is what he said. And then they interviewed Tom Edward Brady afterwards, and he goes, we'll look after the fan. He goes, I don't keep many mementos, but I want to keep this one. 600 touchdown passes. The Houston Texans franchise hasn't had 600 touchdown passes in their history. Anyways.
That's pretty wild.
Sports update for dubnetwork.ca, your number one source for Western Hockey League breaking news and analysis, and for Ben Cahoon's G2G protein bars. I already had one this morning. I might make it too.
How about that?
If you were forced to give up an item, let's just say OV scores his, what's the record for goals? 871. Say, I think it is, Wayne's. Say he scores 872 and against the opposition, and let's say Shesterkin, let's say it's in New York, and he fires the puck into the crowd, the goalie for the Rangers, and you catch it. And then the Capitals come over to you and tap on the glass. Can we get that puck? It's Ovi's. It's the record-breaking goal. A, you don't want to give it to him, but B, you know you should. What would be an appropriate...
But C, that's $1 million puck in your hand.
They say the football's $500,000.
Okay.
That's what they're saying.
So the puck would be... This didn't break a record. The puck would be right there.
No, what would you want?
$500,000.
You scumbag!
That'd be the coolest thing to have the record-breaking puck. But you know what?
Oh, it's $894. Sorry. So if it's $895, you catch the puck for $895. Because what Tom said was, we'll get him a helmet, maybe a couple jerseys or something. I'm not quite like you.
Yeah.
Not a complete pimp like you. I would say, I want the helmet. I want the jerseys. I want season tickets. I want lunch with you at the Golden Corral tomorrow, Tom. And let me think about it a little longer, and then I'll get back to you.
See, I could never, but the thing is, I could never issue a demand. I could never say, I need $500,000, I'm not giving this up. I would just, that's kind of in my mind. If they offered it, I'd be like, you know what? You do own it. Like a dinner with Tom?
Yep.
Would be awesome. I'd take a dinner and a couple of signed things from Tom. Absolutely. That'd be great. That'd be perfect.
That's all you'd want? Not season tickets for life?
You know? No, because I don't really care about the Bucks. I want Tom, right? So give me a replica football of that he signs, maybe. You know? And I can say the replacement, I actually caught the ball. This is a replica. I'd want that, maybe. And a dinner with Tom. I'd be set.
Jamie Anstey is watching in Cole Harbour, Nova Scotia. He says, great show as always, Roddy. Has some comments about the Red Blacks. Ken in Saskatoon writes in and he says, another great show. Thanks to you and Dupes for letting me be part of Friday's live audience. You remember Ken from Saskatoon.
Of course.
One of the vast group of listeners that showed up to watch the show from the Merlis Belcher Place. From the 501, he says, hey, Roddy, went on YouTube and heard what you had to say about the Pats. Hopefully they do something to spark their offense. Moose and I called the hockey game Friday night, and if you recall what I said, and you agreed, was that the Pats had a slow start last year. Remember? Yeah. And they made a change in goal. They tweaked a few things, and they ended up getting into a playoff spot. So I'm not panicking just yet on the play of God's team. From Metal Shingle Guy regarding the firing of Marcel Desjardins today, the GM of the Red Blacks, Metal Shingle Guy says, whoever decided to go after Matt Nicholls instead of Nick Arbuckle should be fired. I agree. I'm just going to bite my tongue on that. I'm trying to not have an opinion on certain things that don't necessarily involve me. You, Darren, we're going to talk about the Chiefs. I'm not sure what their record is, but it's got to be well below 500. The team that's been in the Super Bowl the last 2 years and won one. What's their problem? You watched the whole game yesterday.
Yeah, they not. I think they're 3-4, maybe.
Is that what they are? Yeah.
They're a good football team still. They're in trouble, though. Their defense isn't good enough. And the Titans just had a really good game plan against Patrick Mahomes in the offense. Their offense is not an issue. I mean, coming into this game, I think he was even better than he was last year. Mahomes is still good. The concern I have is he took that knee to the face in the I think it was in the fourth quarter. It was completely accidental, but he looks shaken up. I hope he's healthy and doesn't miss any time. Henne came in and finished the football game. The Chiefs are still a threat. They're still a threat. Their defense is a huge concern, but they're still a threat. They're still a threat. They're still capable of winning a Super Bowl. But teams are now, I mean, that's their Super Bowl, right? Teams gear up for this game against the Chiefs because it's their big litmus test. And so they play a little bit better and they game plan a little bit stronger and a little bit smarter. So no, I'm not writing off the Chiefs yet at all.
Somehow we got on the topic of buffets. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, outside of Chinese food, I can't think of a moderately priced buffet option in Calgary. Well, what's moderately priced? I'd go as high as $30. But as a former restaurant owner and a buffet aficionado, I can tell you that food costs in Canada exponentially higher than America. Nelson Vo, our content creator, says, in exchange for the ball, he was given a signed jersey, $1,000 to the team store, and a replacement game ball. I think I'd be happy with that.
Sign the game ball and you got a deal. That replacement ball, right? But that's good.
I said a signed jersey.
Yeah. That ball is the thing, though, because I can tell people I had the real ball, and they gave me this one in replacement.
It's all about the story.
It is.
Speaking of, I got to find my Bo Levi jersey. I hope somebody around here didn't steal it.
I know where it is.
Tomorrow, Clark, guys, what's tomorrow? Besides Tuesday? Thank you. The sports doctor Dave Patrician tomorrow, and Ryan Malone, former Pittsburgh Penguin, will see at noon Eastern right here on Game Plus TV. I don't know. This is not an online therapy session whatsoever.